Ooh, we need to back up. We need to back all the way up. Keep the beats going, though. Keep it rolling. Yeah. Man. This is good. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Or this isn't going to be crazy long, but it's going to be chill, I think. We haven't done a stream like this since, like, training camp. So, I'm happy about this, man. We got some news to talk about. Really, the last big news thing, I guess, right? I mean, training camp, all these things, bop, over. We're on to the Chiefs. I mean, there will be some little things here. We're going to make some tweaks. And actually, let me know if we sound good. Can we get a 1 in the chat? Hey, so here's the thing, right? I'm thinking about all these cuts and stuff. Or not these cuts, but we're going to talk linebacker. I'm going to show the stuff on the screen, but keep in mind, right, players are going to be hitting IR that the Lions didn't want to have out for the season. So if you put them on IR before the 53-man cut, they're out for the year. You don't want to do that if you want to have the player play at any point during the season. So for certain players, there's a very good chance that now that we've gotten through the cuts, that certain guys are going to hit IR and that the Lions are going to go out in the market, or not in the market, but maybe practice squad, whoever it may be, if they can get a guy back, maybe someone else, and fill back up the roster. And I'm thinking there's a couple of guys that probably will hit that. I don't know for sure, but I got a feeling that I think I know of a couple guys that may end up on that if he comes to mind, the safety. Now the Lions, they're a little bit lighter at safety. They could have kept the next safety to be careful with that one, but they did want to keep Iffy, I'm sure. So if he could hit that, Julian Okwara. I mean, the Lions are super heavy at edge, and Julian, who did not return, doesn't sound extremely promising. They said Iffy's day-to-day, though, so Iffy probably not. Julian Okwara would make sense. I should say Julian. Julian Okwara would make sense that they put him on there, and because of that, it's going to open up a spot, probably for a running back. But it could be anywhere. And there's probably some other ones in there, too, but I think that one's the most obvious one. Chat, how we doing? We got the ones in the chat. Gilmore made it. Well-earned spot. Yo, Gilmore's going to be a fire jersey. And shout out to anybody that got autographs of him, because he was signing stuff at camp. Like, that's going to... He might be that dude that we look back, we're like, dang, we stole that guy. Like, he might be big time. He might be like the Jerry Jacobs kind of thing. I mean, maybe, you know, so who knows, man. Will Harris is on my roster still. Yes, good for Will Harris. But again, one thing I will say to that, because like we saw this last year with Jefferson, I think, you know, it's good to learn from the past. Jefferson made the initial 53, and not long after, he was let go and put on practice squad. So don't overlook that being a possibility as well. Anthony Pittman comes to mind. We have 6 softball linebackers. That something like that could realistically happen, especially if you feel good about them getting back. You put them on there, you bring them back, you open up a spot, and then, of course, you can elevate them for a game day role. So I think there's a lot of movement that's still yet to be had. Not a lot, maybe a few moves. A few moves still yet to be had here. I'm going to show on the screen the graphic of the 53-man roster. I kind of typed it up, but I don't have, or actually, no, it's fine. It's fine. I don't have like the exact title designations for certain players, so we can always look through those if we need them. And I'm going to throw this on the screen, as this is your 53-man roster. If you haven't seen it, this is what we're looking at. This is the initial 53. Now, I highlighted Mosley on here. I do need to point that out. Emmanuel Mosley is highlighted because Emmanuel Mosley is active. And this obviously probably affected the cornerback position. One thing I noticed, chat, just from doing a quick number count here, we have 21 offensive players on the 53 initially. 21. So if my math is right, that means 32 players come on defense/special teams. There's only 3 players on special teams, so that puts us at 29. So 8 more players defensively than offensively. 5 receivers, 2 backs, basically, and a fullback, 2 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. What does that say about the Lions? Let me know in the chat. I think there's going to be some impact. Again, we're going to add another running back for sure. We're not going to have 2 running backs. But I think it also does say kind of where the offense is at based on last year, that there's just a lot of, you know what you have, and I think that's a good thing. Obviously, a couple high draft picks, they're going to make the team. This is a bop, though. So I think that's good. You know, it's something. Obviously, offensive line, though, I think that's still potential to be added to. I would look into it. But, yeah, a lot of players defensively, a lot of guys in that front 7. I wouldn't be shocked if Julian hits IR. That would make sense based on kind of what we heard. They went heavy on defensive line again. I think that made sense. I don't know how you cut any of those guys, honestly. You're not going to cut Martin, you know. So, and I think because of Martin's inconsistency, you had to keep Benito. I don't know. What do we think? Why Thomas got waived? So Obviously, Mosley gets active, which is an impact, right? So I always thought Thomas was similar to Jerry Jacobs, just like a more athletic, a little bit tighter Jerry Jacobs. I think that's the best way to put it. He's less flexible, but he's also more athletic in terms of he's just more explosive. With that, I don't know if he's as refined, especially now, as Jerry Jacobs. One thing I will say, and I said this during the Bleacher Report stream, shout out to anybody that was in there, I didn't think he was consistent at getting off blocks on receivers and making tackles, but that's not, I don't think, the reason why he's not here. But there's that. I think one thing that's interesting is that they chose Khalil Dorsey. I think he's the biggest surprise for me because I really there was a big part of me that just did not think Dorsey was going to be able to make this team. You know, you just kind of get a sense on some guys. That's not to say that Dorsey didn't play well. He played well every week. Every week we walk back. I could be wrong. I may have had Khalil Dorsey on my stock up every single game. After every game, I may have had Khalil Dorsey stock is up. And by the final game of the preseason, he was a starter. Now, Starling Thomas, and Dorsey may have as well. He was mixing in like even in the third, fourth quarter. But he started that game. Now, he got beat on the slant to begin it, and then he bounced back. He was very good in the preseason. He played good outside of just coverage. And I think you could make the argument, obviously he can play slot, which Starling, they thought that he was going to be a slot coming out because of his build, and he's stuck on the outside for us. Maybe they don't feel like the flexibility is there as much. So there is potential, more flexibility, maybe for Dorsey. And I think, again, if you were looking at it and you said, if I asked you, hey, tomorrow we got to put one of those guys out there to go match up with that receiver. Right now, I know this seems unfair, but it's also not crazy unfair because Emmanuel Mosley's got an injury history. We don't know if he's going to play week 1. So if I said to you, we have to put one of those guys out there, match up that receiver one-on-one, their number 2 receiver, who do you want to do it? Dorsey or Starling? We're not talking future, we're talking right now. You could make a case for Khalil Dorsey. I think you really could make a case for Dorsey there just because of how he looked. I think that when you look at a guy like Starling, he has a lot of upside. And that's why I didn't want to cut him, especially early. I was like, that guy's got to be a lock. I thought he would be a lock. But I think if you were looking at it from that perspective, you could argue Dorsey. And I think where the Lions are, I don't know that they want to keep a lot of spots for guys that they feel like could become that. When in reality, last year, we had a lot of guys that were just not consistent at cornerback. We just had a lot of like, oh goodness, this is not good on the outside. So it almost feels like they kind of lean into, this guy's consistently playing better right now. And hopefully they get Starling back on the practice squad. That's kind of how I look at it. And, you know, maybe Starling ends up at some point back on the roster, if possible. When spots open up, he gets signed back. But it is a shock. I'm not trying to act like this ain't a shock, but I think it's a way that you can look at it. And I don't think being surprised with Starling Thomas getting cut, I don't think being surprised Starling Thomas getting cut is one thing, and it can also be another thing saying that Khalil Dorsey did earn a spot. Like, he played well enough that you would understand that he could make the team. He's still very young as well, if that makes sense, chat, my bad. But yeah, Mosley made the team, and I think that impacts a lot of it. And obviously they have a lot of flexibility in their cornerback room, and they're kind of light at safety, right? If he's injured, it sounds like it's day-to-day, but they're going to need someone that can also play safety. So I don't know. That's just kind of like a perspective I think. Look at who's at our kick returner. So Jeff, that's a great question. I was just about to say that. I'm glad you said that. That's the biggest thing. I thought Starling was going to be our kick returner. Now, if he gets back to the practice squad, who's to say that he's not? He could absolutely be our kick returner. You can elevate 4 players a week. There's a real shot that Khalil Dorsey, if he got back on Starling, if he got back to our practice squad, we just elevate him for that week and we let him return kicks. I mean, we protect him, we let him return kicks. There's a real potential of that. That would make sense. So I'm not counting out him being able to do that. It's just, can he make it back? If he's not, I think it's a real question. I would think that Antoine Green is the lead candidate because at running back we didn't really keep anybody, right? Like Craig maybe could have, but we didn't keep anybody. I think he's the lead candidate based on his skill set. He can run after catch. He's got the speed. I think Green makes sense, and he had a good kick return in there. Also, the other player, and we're getting an ad. There was another player I was going to bring up, chat. My bad. Let me mute that. There was another player I was going to bring up. Man, I completely forgot who I was going to say. I don't remember. There's another guy. There's another guy that I thought could return kicks, and I don't. Oh, Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond got his extension. Part of maybe the raise, you know, or it wasn't really even a pay raise this year, but part of the extension could have been like, hey, man, you may have to take on a little more responsibility. You might have to be our kick returner now, too. I don't know. I mean, it's 8, you know? So, but he did well there, so that's another part of the reason I'm surprised. I hope we get Coda back. Yeah, Coda would be a great practice squad ad. You know, and I had him early, right? I think it was after the second week or the first week I had him on the team. I think it was after the second week. Then third week I took him off, mainly to go heavy at corner. We didn't do that as heavy as I thought. Maybe we kept one less than I thought we would. But Mosley coming back kind of changed and shook it up a little bit. But what was I saying? I'm sorry. I forgot what I was saying. Coda. Yeah, no, Coda would be great for practice squad. I think he'll get back. I mean, you could see a team signing him, but I don't know that some teams like blown away first. He didn't like go crazy in terms of production. I think he's a good route. He's an above average route runner. It looked like he's got some bend. He's got some lean to him. Obviously, he didn't have the strongest finish, so that doesn't help. But he was consistently productive. He had very reliable hands. He had a certain route tree that they kind of leaned into. He's not the biggest separator. So I think, and he probably doesn't have a monster special teams impact either. I think he'll get back to the practice squad. I feel pretty comfortable saying I think he'll end up being back here. I could be wrong, but I think he will. And that'll be a good addition because he'll be another guy that could easily be elevated during the season. What else do we think of, chat? Literally everyone on our team was a kick returner in college. A lot of kick returners. I don't think Coda would make it back to the practice squad. Hey, I guess we'll find out, man. Like I said, I could be wrong on that. I think, again, the deadline, I think it's noon tomorrow. We'll know which guys got claimed, which guys did not get claimed, which guys are now free agents, which guys go to the IR, that kind of thing. So tomorrow noon, then we'll start getting players realistically added to the practice squad then. Practice squad get like $750K, right? I think it's something like that, but I also think it's paid bi-weekly, like kind of like a NFL roster player, but it's like weekly, so it's like, or it's, I don't know how they pay. I don't know. Maybe it's like every other week, but they get paid like when they're on the practice squad actually. So it's something like that. But practice squad players move a lot, so I don't know that I would look at it like they're getting paid this, but yeah, I think it's something in that range. But they're always like kind of moving, you know. How tall is Coda? He looks like a tight end. He does look like a tight end. I think he's like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". I think he's somewhere in that range. I don't know. I think he's 6'4". What happened to Reese Alexander? Man, I don't think Alexander had a strong preseason. And honestly, I don't know that he had a strong. Okay, let me take that back. He had plays in training camp. And I think for him, honestly, training camp was probably better than preseason because he did a lot of the things that he did in preseason that were good, like a lot of the underneath routes where he was effective. A lot of that stuff popped a lot more in camp. They'd throw him screens. He just had more opportunity in camp. When it comes to the preseason, I didn't think it was that good. I also didn't think he earned himself at all a kick returner position. So he could be another practice squad piece for sure. He could absolutely be a practice squad player, but I don't think he had a very good preseason. 12K a week or 200K a season. Oh, dang. Hey, look, I'll take that. They can make me a practice squad player. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. 12K a week. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. We need one back. Yeah, they'll get it back. I do think it's interesting though. I kind of surprised by the Craig one. I get it because there's going to be movement, and I think if Craig's back, I think what will happen is we'll find out someone hits IR. If they can get Craig back, Craig will be signed back to the 53. That's kind of my early prediction. That's kind of what I'm thinking earlier. All right? But I will say this. There are some backs that are intriguing. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these backs, and there's going to be a lot of new names. I can't see all the names yet. I don't know who's all going to be available. But a lot of the vet names are coming off serious injuries. So you can understand why they haven't been signed. But I think, J.D. McKissick, he's coming off like a neck injury, and they thought maybe his career was over last year. Obviously, I like J.D. McKissick, his pass game production. You have Hilliard is another one that's coming off a scary neck injury as well. But those are two guys, good pass game impact. He's a crazy athlete. So there's that. There's some young guys out there too, that may have time. Look, Master Teague from Ohio State, I don't think he was great there, but maybe they go young. That could be more of a practice squad. Larry Roundtree hasn't played a lot in the NFL, but he was a Chargers back. So those could be practice squad guys. But I think we'll get more names available, and I think Craig will end up back. I hope he does. Look, if I was another team, I'd snag him. But shoot. I don't know. I hope he gets back here. And you got to think, I think a lot of teams probably have the same perspective we do. Like, I was thinking about this. We always talk about, like, oh, that guy's come back to the practice squad. And a lot of guys usually come back to the practice squad. I think there's a lot of teams that come in with the same perspective. Like, okay, yeah, we're going to re-sign this guy. Like, majority of teams, I think for a majority of their roster that they cut, they have most guys that they feel like and they plan on getting back. Now, there will be we'll have a couple that we want from other teams. That'll happen, but I think a lot of teams kind of have the same mindset of a lot of players they want to bring back. I don't think many teams go into it and like, all right, we need a whole new practice squad. Maybe if you're in like a full rebuild type year, it's like your first year of resetting, maybe that's possible, but I think a lot of teams come in with a similar mindset. So the guys that seemingly get picked up, because a lot of times you're not getting like starters that are let go. Because if it's starters let go, then you have to make a spot on your 53 and then pick him for a guy that you didn't choose initially. So it's going to be hard to find a starter. It almost feels like, it's those young guys. It's the guys with maybe crazy upside like a Thomas, something like that. Trinity Benson, right? Really great preseason. But I think a lot of teams come in with the same idea. James Robinson too. Now I don't know what's going on with James. I'm assuming that he wants a good amount of money. I think he'd be great. Yeah, as a running back 3, especially on Madden. Like shoot, that'd be a great running back 3. Do I need James Robinson if I get Craig back? Probably not. I don't know a ton about James Robinson, so I'll be fair there. I like him as a back. He's another UDFA, right? But I don't know if I need him back necessarily. I want more of like a receiving back, and maybe James is that. I don't know him that well. But I kind of want a guy that I feel like is a really nice backup to a Jahmyr Gibbs. That's what I'm interested in. Myles Gaskin. I like Myles Gaskin. Melvin Gordon or Bam. I like Myles Gaskin. That's an interesting one. Iffy and Will Harris shouldn't be there. Man, I mean, I get why Iffy's there. He was the draft pick. It would be surprising if he wasn't there. Also, I do really like him on tight ends. Like, it wasn't even, there was a play in this preseason where he fell down covering the tight end. But I really like that ability. And if you look at the kind of players they have, obviously Joseph got let go. He'd be a great practice squad get back out of Notre Dame. He was good for us. But they had those body types. They had Joseph. When they lost Savion, who was a cornerback going to safety, they had Scott. I mean, they had big dudes. So if he played into a type that they liked there, and it's the second year, so maybe there's more to it. We could talk about the Will Harris one all day. You guys know how I feel about the Will Harris one, but Zonovan Knight's an interesting one. He hasn't been that good in the NFL though. At least statistically speaking, he hasn't really done much. Like, yeah, I would be surprised if they went out and got like a big name back. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it'll be more of like a young type of maybe not young, but more of like a Justin Jackson, where it's kind of like, all right, it's like he's not a big name back, but he was productive. He's kind of like your mid-level type of back. I think something like that would make sense. I'd be a little surprised if they went after a big name like a Kenyon Drake, but hey, I'm not saying I'm against it. Leonard Fournette would be a stud running back 3. I mean, that would be like the power running back 3, right? Like that would be truly your power back. And again, I don't know if that I want that if I have Craig back, but upset Jefferson make team. Nah, look, well, so he was waived injured, right? So I don't even know like how serious that is. I just knew he was injured last week. It's why I didn't have him in my prediction for D3. And yeah, I hated it. Like obviously I wouldn't have put him in there because he had a good week 2, but it was like, dang, you're not playing week 3. I can't put you in there. And now being waived injured, now it's kind of concerning. Like, dang, how serious is this, right? Is there going to be an injury settlement? Because now he's going to have to go through waivers. Probably won't get claimed. Probably will, be a guy that could land back on IR unless they come to a settlement and have to knock him out for the year. So I don't even know what this year's looking like for Jamar. I hope it's not that serious. It hasn't sounded like it's that serious. When is it going to be time to pay Sewell and Amon-Ra? So Sewell, he has the 5th-year option. After this year, all those first draft picks, like you're saying, Sewell, Amon-Ra, all those guys can negotiate. They'll have to make a decision on Sewell's 5th year. I don't know that they'll pick that up for a tackle. They might. But after this year, they can start negotiating a lot of those guys. So, yeah, a lot of those guys, they can start. Is the music too loud? They can start negotiating. It kind of gets me going, though. It gives me that beat, man. I like to have a little beat in the background, get it bopping a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember what I was saying. But dang, I don't remember what I was saying. Shoot. Oh no, wait, Penny. So yeah, after this year, Craig shall return. I think so. He'll be back. I'm gonna speak it into existence. He'll be here. Some of the chat's talking about Fournette. Man, he ain't even that old. It's just like he seems old. I feel like Bajan gonna beat the Lions game 2 for Bears. That's where Bajan is. He's a Bear. I didn't even know that. Dang, man, if we get beat by Bajan, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough, man. Was there anything else that we had to hit on here when we're looking at this? I think receiver going light there makes sense. Green, if they would have cut Green, I would have been surprised. They clearly like their draft picks, except for Chase Lucas, I guess. I mean, I think versatility hurt him there. Craig to the Panthers. Nah, Hungry Panda, don't do that. I saw that comment earlier. Don't do that. Don't speak that into existence. Man. Who's starting linebackers week 1? I think it'll be Campbell and Alex. I mean, I know there's talk about Derek, and I wouldn't count it out, but I think Campbell's going to start. And I know Alex is starting week 1. I'm pretty confident in that. I mean, we'll see when it goes during the season. They can always tweak it. It's a good linebacker room. It really is. Like, Malcolm's good. We don't talk about Malcolm, but he's a really nice backer. He'll be elite on special teams, which is part of the reason I'm a little bit confused on the Pittman one. Pittman's been fine on special teams. He plays a lot. Like the last 2 years, he's played over 350 special team snaps. He hasn't been like elite there, but he's played a lot and he plays a lot of different roles. So I think there's a confidence with having that piece. I could see him get moved. Like I could see them move him and for another roster spot if they need to. It's just a little surprising to have 6 off-ball linebackers. That feels kind of weird. It feels a little unnecessary, and I don't think he did that well. I don't think he did well in preseason as an off-ball linebacker. Not to say it was all bad. There was some good. There was some stack and shed. There was some run finishing there. But, like, if you compared him to Trevor, I think you can make a real case Trevor was better as an off-ball linebacker. So, to me, that's more of a special teams kind of thing. That one's the biggest surprise to me. That one is the biggest shock to me. You want him to stay so bad, shouldn't have cut him. Well, he'll be back. He'll be back. Nah, see, the Panthers ain't smart like that. He'll be back. You know, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Sometimes you cut greatness, Hungry Panda. Sometimes you cut greatness. Michael Jordan got cut. Jamar Jefferson got cut. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to cut greatness. That's just how it goes. And then they come back, hopefully. You know, Jefferson came back, greatness. He's back, though. You know? So, he might be back again. You just got to do what you got to do. Pittman, special teams captain, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know on that one. Better be our starter. Better be our starter, otherwise it doesn't make sense. So when do you have to submit the practice squad? I don't know if there's ever actually a day. I mean, I could be way off. I didn't know there was actually a day where you have to submit the practice squad because it's always moving. There might be, but I think a little bit after noon we'll start getting moves that we start to see kind of players coming back, things like that. Once all the guys got to go through the waiver wire stuff. MJ got cut in the 10th grade, though. But he got cut, and guess what? I bet in 11th grade he was on that same high school team. I know he ain't hey, this was like the 80s, okay? Or the 70s. This man did not transfer out of that high school. He came back. He said, nah, I'm playing in 11th grade JV. He came back. So, he might have transferred. I don't know. He still has a lot. I would have kept Craig over Pittman for confidence that I would have gotten back. Maybe they were just like not as confident. I think Craig will come back though, but I would have kept Craig over Pittman just because I would have been just a little bit worried. Who are the captains? Captain Jack, right? Hey, okay, I'm not bad at that. I think we got a lot of captain type players. It's who you want to low risk expose waivers. I meant Matthew Slater. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, my bad. It's kind of far. It's really small. I couldn't tell if that was starter or Slater. I gotcha. Because we already got like dudes that are gonna be huge. Like JRM, his main role is gonna be a special teams, especially punt team. He's very good there. Rodrigo's gonna be a bigger role in special teams. So I don't know. And it's really like, to me, it's like what role do we want you for? Are you like on field goal block? I don't need you to be an elite special teamer on field goal block. You know, he plays it, but Alex Anzalone plays field goal block. Like, I don't need an elite special teamer there, I feel like. I don't know. And he's not playing off the edge. You know, he's not playing field goal, what would he even call it? Field goal, like, protection? I don't even know what that's called. I don't know the right word for that. He's not doing that, I don't think. Usually put the big bodies, tight ends go on the end. That's the kind of thing. You know, now punt return, you know, punt coverage, you can be an impactful there. Same thing with kick coverage. He'll probably play kick coverage, you know, like he has in the past. But punt coverage, yeah, I just think Malcolm and those guys are going to have a bigger role there anyway. But they played there last year too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not mad at it because I think Craig's going to be back. So I'm not like mad at it. But, you know, Thomas had other penalties, sure, that hurt him. And Dorsey balled out. He did have that 60-yard return. Dang, I forgot about that. That's a good point. Hey, Dorsey might be the returner. I forgot that happened. I'm glad you said that. He did. He had the penalties, but he also had one in like week 2 too. He had a penalty. That's the thing. Like, what Starling needed to work on coming out of college, I still feel like there's still real questions about where the development came in there. You know, like, he was feisty, he was physical, he's all these things, but he had issues at the top of the route. You know, things got tight at the top of the route, and that's why he would get so physical and handsy. And I'm fine with it, but if you're getting called for flags, then you're not maybe hiding it as much. That's where the issue is. Now, the one flag, though, I will say to his defense, that was terrible. That was a garbage call. Now, that wasn't even right. That last game where they called it on the third down, that was a whack call. So, like, I get it got called, and usually I just point those out, but, like, nah, that was pretty whack. That was pretty whack. I guess it's good to say that about our cornerback room. It's just gotten that strong. I mean, hopefully. My theory is Gilmore and Dorsey got the nod to prove themselves this in season. If they can do well, Will Harris will be waived when JMO comes back. That's very possible. I mean, I would assume we wouldn't have to. Unfortunately, there will probably be something that comes up, injury-wise, whatever it may be, where you won't have to necessarily waive a starter to open up a roster spot. But or not a starter, but you could be right. Absolutely, you could be right there. And yeah, Dorsey has that flexibility. I don't know if Gilmore has played in the slot a little bit, so there could be real flexibility there. I'm down with that. And I think there's a real use for Will because they feel he can play at the safety position as well. He played well for us last year. Not great, but he played well for us last year, so I think there's something to that. And then you guys talking about captains, like I think they view him as that kind of piece for their back end, mentally for them. And he is. You can see it. Like when you watch it, he's one of the smarter players out there. He just isn't natural in man coverage. It just is what it is. But he's a very smart player. And I will say this, okay, being fair, because I don't know who the breakdowns were on, but there were 2 breakdowns by Stephen Gilmore in that second preseason game, or he was involved in 2 breakdowns in communication and coverage. The next week, I didn't notice that. Could have missed it. I didn't notice that. I'm going to probably still do an all-22 on it, maybe some version of it. I didn't notice it, though. That's probably something to revisit again, is that preseason game, now that we know who's here. Fritos are way too salty nowadays. Dang, I don't even eat Fritos, man. I'm not a Fritos kind of guy. Fritos, I rock with them when they put like the meat in there. They put like the taco meat and stuff. Like I rock with it like that, but I ain't gonna just eat no Fritos, man. That's a little bit weird. Hold up, man. It's 2023. You're eating Fritos, my guy. Are they like normal, or you eat like a flavored? I feel like that's a little. They're going to take Walker C away from him? Man, no way. We're just going to have a lot of captains, Like on Madden, I think you can just name everybody a captain. Everybody's going to be a captain on defense. Cabinda is the strongest. I think they just like him for personnel usage. Did you see how much I-form and offset I were using? Like one part of me thought like, okay, maybe this is just to get a look at him. But no one else does it. Like he's the only guy that ever plays that role. It's like, if they want to do that, and we said this in the Bleach Report stream, like the Lions are one of the teams that I see, and not every team I see do this. You had to watch a lot of teams last year that will go 6 offensive linemen, put basically no receivers out there, and they'll just hand the ball off, and you're like, well, or they'll put 1 receiver, and it's like putting Chase Cota out there. It's like they're not throwing this, and they run it. Everybody knows they're running it, but they still running that thing. Just knowing that about Dan, he didn't really have that option because of injury with Cabinda. But you know that he wants that option. He just wants that little puzzle piece. Like, hold up. Ben Johnson may be calling plays now, but let me throw that fullback in there a couple times. And then special teams. Man, I hope not. I hope they're not moving the linebacker. We got 7 off-ball linebackers. What's up, Mike? Man, Flamin' Hot Fritos in my Taco Bell yesterday. Oh, okay. See, I rock with that. I'm going to be honest, though. I've never had, like, the hot, like, Cheetos or nothing. Never had those. But if you have it in Taco Bell, I rock with it. If you're just like, man. Munch a bunch of Munchos with lunch. All right, Chris. Chili cheese Fritos. Those are the most popular ones, I think. Like the original ones, that's... we got questions. That's... Who we getting at running back to have more depth? Craig's coming back. Well, I could be wrong. I think Craig comes back. And I think there's some young guys. It's just hard because, like, even looking at the options that are available, a lot of it isn't updated. There's vets out there. If they pass, if they check out, like, in terms of health. Like I said, Hilliard has been very explosive, very good back, but he's just coming off very serious injury, and I don't know if he's even cleared that yet. J.D. McKissick, similar thing. Like, I like those 2 guys for what we need, or for what I think we need. But the flip side is, like, okay, that's a roster spot. They're probably not going to the practice squad. Especially like for what you guys are saying, Fournette. When you say these big names, those guys are absolutely a roster spot. That is not a practice squad elevation. You know what I mean? Like I don't see you going out signing Kenyon Drake to the practice squad. Like you maybe, I don't know, maybe he's been on the practice squad, but I would think that's gonna hit a roster spot. So someone's gonna lose their spot for that guy. What up? What's up on the Mike Evans trade? I've heard nothing about it, but I'm or nothing more about it. But I'm on board with it. I hope it happens. I'd love it. Oh. Yeah. You think back to the first year Ben was here? Who just said that? We think back to the first year Ben was here? When they did the little play fake, little touchdown, and it got like all the hype where Cabinda kind of did the short motion. And they got to an offset look, and they did the play fake through the touchdown. Brock Wright was like one-handed, and that was hype. And it was like, man, Ben Johnson was so creative. He was like, let me motion the fullback. Like they want that. They want that ability. They gave committed like a 2-year, $5 million deal or something. I might be, under on that. They give like a legit deal. Most teams don't even pay fullbacks. It's like, bro, they're keeping that dude. Why do you think they kept Iffy? What has he done to deserve a spot? After all, Harris can play safety. We lost super fast Sterling Thomas, who I like. Thanks. Yeah, that's a good question. Why do I think they kept Iffy? Well, I think the biggest reason they kept Iffy is because they drafted him in the 3rd round a couple years ago. So I think that has a big part of it. Also, we haven't really got to see him much. If you think about Iffy, he's had terrible injury history. Now, that could obviously keep you from making the team. You could look at it from that perspective. We know he's dealing with something right now, and he didn't play in the last preseason game. But he's had a lot of missed time. So not only at cornerback, but trying to make that transition to safety, we really didn't get a normal opportunity to make that transition. So I do think with Iffy, they want to see what it looks like at safety. I think they like that body type at safety. They've added other pieces for a similar body type that did not make the team. Big, fast, matchup pieces on tight ends. Like, they want that type. So I think he fits into a lot of the boxes that they're looking for. I just don't think that he's been on the field enough because of missed time. And that's not to say like he played bad in the preseason. It's hard to see, and now I know they have all 22. You can see a little bit easier. It's hard to see safeties make splash plays in the preseason unless they're rolling down and making tackles in the box or they pick something off. But he has real tight end coverage ability. So I think they like him. I think they really like it. And I know we talked about like cutting a player for upside, but it's different when it's round 3 versus UDFA, and it's like a big difference. I'm with you, though, on the Will Harris thing. I think it's going to be valuable, but I still think they look at it as valuable because of if he's having the injuries that he's had. I still think they look at it that it is valuable to have Will Harris with that, but it's a good point. I think it almost looks like when you really look at this roster, right, if we talk about the bubble players that they kept, let's just take a look, right? Benito Jones, kept him. Anthony Pittman, kept him. Cornerback, Will Harris, kept him. If you go with a lot of these positions, Matt Nelson, they've seemingly really leaned into Khalil Dorsey. Like, which guys do we feel confident if we had to put them on the field? Not what they're going to become, but if we had to put them on the field, how confident are we they're going to hold that down, right? Because we may have to get there. It's very possible. I mean, you have to go to practice squad players a lot of times. So it felt like they kind of leaned into that very heavily. Like, we're going to keep those guys around. And I think that speaks to where they are. They're in year 3. They're trying to win football games. They want players that can help them now. And I think it's just a different perspective than what you were year 1. Year 1, it was a little bit different. The Detroit Lions have traded Julian and a 4th for Michael Thomas. Hey, that would be crazy. That I would be shocked if a team gave up that much for Michael Thomas, to be honest. I don't even know if I thought he was playing this year, but I think he is playing this year. But yeah, he's always hurt, man. We still got Sudfeld. We do still have him, but he's on IR, so he won't play this year. I think it was a season-ending injury. He tore his ACL. So we do have to figure out who that's going to be because we waived Adrian Martinez. We're going to have to figure out who our emergency quarterback is. It could easily be Martinez. Clearly, some other quarterbacks are being let go. So someone's going to – we're going to have to figure out that position. All right, Charles sounds very convicted on this, so I'm gonna check it out. I feel like my Rad would have texted me by now or called me because that's usually what Rad does. If something goes down like that, he usually immediately texts me. But I'm going to double check just to make sure. See, this beats a bop. I know y'all are saying some of these are weird. Like, this one's a good one. Man, I don't see nothing on there. You need to I had to check. Charles, I know you're trolling, but I have to check, man. You know what I mean? I got to check. You were so convicted. You've dropped a name in there. You were like, hey, man, let me drop this little description. Michael Thomas is back with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. Like, come on, man. Man, love this shirt. Appreciate you, Juma. Hey, come on now. This is my favorite shirt. I love this shirt. You know why? Because it's soft. It's soft. Other shirts are, like, hard, man. Pause. Like, you get other shirts are hard, man. They tear. This is soft, man. It's soft. That's why I like it. Charles got a buy one get one. Wait, stab job. Okay. My body failed to respond to surgeries. Dang, that's what he said. Oof. Yeah, he's been going through it. Do you remember playing Warzone back then, dude? I miss that, Dylan. I always miss that too. I want to bring it back. There's a big part of me that wants to do that again. I miss it. I don't even have a new gen console though. A next gen console though. Like I gotta buy one. I don't even have one. But I do miss it. You think we're getting another kicker or staying with Patterson? It's a good question. There's like a real part of me, because the report was put out there today that they were one of the teams that were interested in the trade market for kicker. And I did look it up just because everybody talks Prater. I had to look it up, Matt Prater last season was 22 of 25. His longest kick was 57 yards, and he was 5 of 6 from 50 plus. The year before, he was 30 of 37, but he still has that big leg. Will Lutz was another interesting one, way less efficient. 4 of 6 from 50 plus was the 60-yard long. The question will come down to what do the Lions want. Do they want a guy that they feel like gives them a shot on longer field goals? You could argue that was Parker Romo, but Parker Romo was also an undrafted free agent, and I don't know what he always looked like in practice. They seem to have a good competition going, though. Flip side, though, I'm pretty, and look, like I said, y'all can revisit this. Call me out. If the Lions lose a game because he's missing extra points and field goals, come back and be like, dang, you were wrong. They should have addressed it. I'm confident in Riley Patterson. I don't have much concern there. I just kind of know what he is. Like, if it's 55 plus, I'm not putting dude out there. I think if you're going to roll with Riley, you kind of understand that. I don't know if the Lions really would have expected more when they made the trade. But because of that, I'm also confident. For a guy that's missed one extra point in his entire regular season career, he's been incredibly efficient. I'm confident that he's going to hold it down this season if they roll into that. But I could see them add somebody, but I'm confident. Bailey Zappi was cut. That surprised me. I did not expect that. He'd be a great quarterback somehow to pick up. That was. They don't even have another quarterback on that route. They cut both of them. I don't know what that was. We will win week 1. I love it. Maybe that was like, hey, we don't want any more controversy. Oh, shout out to my guy.
Just imagine us winning week 1 exploding head.
Oh, snap. Yeah, it's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy. My man Vision Stealth with the 2 weeks. I appreciate you, man. Are the Lions going to add another running back and trade, you think? No, I don't think they'll trade for a back. The only way I think they trade for a back is if it was like a, kind of like a late round pick swap kind of thing, like with Benson. Maybe you're thinking Jonathan Taylor. I don't think they would, no. Because they don't need like a running back like that, in my opinion. Like Montgomery's a 3-year deal. He's a legit great, offset to Jahmyr Gibbs, and they drafted Gibbs at 12. I don't think they're going to invest like a lot or much at all in terms of like that. If anything, it'll be, kind of like a mid-level, I think, signing. That's really all I see going down there. And I think Craig will come back. I'm going to keep saying that. I think Craig will come back. We speaking attitudes. At some point, that's going to happen. We win week 1. Lions fans are going to super overreact. But is that overreacting, though? Like, how? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs don't lose, bro. Chiefs literally just don't lose. They don't lose much at all. Mahomes never lost on opening day. They don't lose, man. So I feel like even if it's like the ugliest cheating win ever, like they have like 7 pass interferences in a row, and that's the only reason we can move the football and we win, I'm still going to be hyped. Like, oh, dang, we're winning the Super Bowl because it's the Chiefs. Like, it's like, I'm trying to think, is there ever a good comparison to beating the Chiefs? Like, is there a good comparison historically where, like, when you beat that team, that's different? It makes me kind of think New England when we beat them in week 3, but that one didn't even feel like that. Like, that was a great win, but we were 0-2. This one's week 1, man. We don't even know what we're going to be. We're going in just not knowing. In the Arrowhead, not at home. Prime time, that one was prime time too. But there's just something about it. Like, this is arguably the most successful, like, stretch an NFL team I think has ever had in history of the NFL, outside of maybe the championship years. You beat that team. I don't know how you could. I don't think you can we'll find out. We're going to find out, but I don't think you can. I'd be going crazy. Call me optimist here. But Patterson is locked from 40 in. He's been that. He's been that from really, 49 in his short career. I like that, Jacob. That's what I'm thinking too. Hey, yo, that just means we're going to have to go for it on 4th down. We know he likes to do that. I like that way of thinking. Head exploding. But I do think they're going to keep him. We'll see. I'm confident, though, if he's out there. Craig coming back, right? He coming back, man. He's coming back, yeah. Detroit versus everybody. We could put Jack Fox out there, 55-plus yard field goals. Dang, I've never seen Fox kick wasn't he, like, struggling to make field goals in, like, a while back? I could be wrong. Maybe y'all saw some video of him, like, booting that thing. I don't know. But what are his limitations if we need to pinch on defense? I think he's got real limitations as off-ball linebacker, and I think he's good on special teams. But I don't. That's the move I don't love. Shout to that, whatever that was. I think it's a sub. Appreciate you. Yo, chat. We're kind of close to 20K. I don't usually ask, but I've been realizing like the last couple uploads, like, dang, we're actually kind of close to 20K. That would be kind of cool. I'm just saying, if you want to. If you all have, I'm sure you all have. I appreciate you. But if you want to click that button, help me get there. That'd be kind of cool. But What were we saying? Oh, Anthony Pittman. I'm surprised by that. If you're asking me on off-ball, I think he was the worst off-ball linebacker we had in the preseason. I don't want that to sound terrible. Like, I'm not trying to blast a dude. Like, it wasn't like that. But I think in comparison to Trevor, I thought Trevor was better. So I don't... There's good things in his game. Like, you know, he's got real physicality. He sticks his nose in. He's one of the, you know, better, I think, stacking linebackers that we have because of his size. But I really don't love him in coverage. Obviously, there's major athletic limitations there, but also there were some breakdowns that he was involved in, not to say it was on him. I don't know. They like him though, and they've liked him. I think he's even played on the edge for us in the past. Maybe they think there's flexibility there too. Like, hey, in a pinch, like in chat, let's think about this now. Let's look at it from all sides of it. I believe he's played on the edge for us at times. I could be wrong, but I believe he has. I think he did like in past preseasons. If Julian goes to IR, and you're looking at kind of that Sam backer position, you're looking at James Houston, Charles Harris, and then who? Anthony Pittman maybe gives him some depth there. And I know it's like, well, that's not the same. You know, why didn't I just keep another edge? Well, who is the other edge? Like, they trust Pittman on special teams. He's been here. He's done it. So, I mean, other than, like, maybe if they would have kept one of the UDFAs that they released really early, maybe they see that as like, oh, this guy can drop a little bit. He can handle, he won't be a great pass rusher, but he can handle what we ask him to do as a run defender out there or in coverage, at least like a limited role. So I think that's a worthy thing to bring up. I want to see Branch lower the boom on Mahomes. Yeah, I'd love that too. You know, he can blitz though. He'll close too. You know, he ain't getting away with Campbell lurking. First play, flea flickered, Khalif touchdown. Why don't teams do that? Like, can we address that? Why don't teams ever do that? Like, I feel like we always talk about that. It would make sense. Like, very first play, let's get over top. I feel like certain teams will take like a deep pass on first down. You know, but like, why not do a flea flicker first play? Everybody's gonna bite on that. Like, you gotta believe everybody's gonna bite on that. I would think. Harris. Yeah, so I'm saying Charles is a starter, right? And then Houston, he'll be like a third down package guy, but he'd be like the clear backup for that role, even in a different sense. You still have hit and miss there for him against the run, but he's a good space player. But then Pittman, you know, you could say, well, there's a little bit of a backup there. That Julian kind of is. Julian is hurt, yeah, and I don't know how serious it is, but it sounds like he might be going on IR. So that's why I think Craig will end up back. They'll probably put him on IR, sign Craig back if possible, maybe someone else, and there'll probably be more moves than just that, and that'll be the 53. I think. Well, there'll be more than that, but that'll be part of the 53. The Chiefs also have injuries. Yo, and then big dude's not playing. Chris Jones, I think they put him on a reserve list. He's out for like 8 weeks. Yeah, no Jones. Boom. KC might not make playoffs. All right, I won't go that far, Chris. I'm not mad at it, but I'm just like, I can't do that to him. But if that helps us win, I'll take it. You know, we take any. If Mahomes can't play, he can't play. You know, it is what it is. How many trick plays do you think we see week 1? Probably like 1. I can see us doing like a fake punt. You know, because you got to think, like, it's different. It's not that it's week 1. It's that it's Kansas City at Kansas City. And if you think back to how Dan Campbell has approached certain games, now, I think it was different year 1, but remember LA when we played the Rams and all the tricks that we threw out there because it was like, man, we're outmatched here. I don't think they view themselves as that as much, so it may dial back. But he is going to KC. So would it shock me if early he threw something at them a little bit like unexpected? Nah, because I think he's going to look at it like that. Like, hey, they're going to score a lot. We need to steal possession. So I think in some way I would not be surprised if he tried something like that. Cabinda is great on special teams. I like Cabinda on special teams as well. Yep, I'm with you there. He's a lead blocker. I like him. Is Iffy or Julian to IR? I think Julian is. I don't think Iffy will. Because he said it was day to day. I mean, maybe he is, and I think hopefully Brandon Joseph comes back or something. Maybe Breeze. But I think that I think Julian's probably hitting IR. I don't think Iffy will, though. It didn't sound like it was that serious, but I guess you never know. Y'all seen what we did to the Bills and Von Miller. That's true. We did play them really well. That was a fun game. What? We did that a couple years ago. Stafford flea flicker. Flicker. Yeah. That was was that Stafford or was that the it was the first play? No, I think that was David Blau, right? I could be off. I'm sorry. I'm probably wrong. I thought David Blau had one, but I do remember trick plays against Green Bay. So you're probably right. We're probably talking about 2 different plays. Y'all seen what Kadarius isn't playing? Okay, I'll take that too. DC got nothing to lose. There you go. How in the world did Jace Cabinda make the roster? Dan Campbell really loves. He does. And I think that's something you got to keep in mind too. Like, Like kind of like we just said with flexibility, like, oh, you can play different positions. Jason Kabinda allows them because, again, you could argue like, oh, just put the tight end at fullback, put the linebacker fullback, but he doesn't do it. You have to look at, I think, the personnel flexibility that he likes. He likes doing those kind of things. He likes going I formation. He likes offsetting. He likes doing those things. And if you're going to do that, you got to pay a fullback. And he paid him back a couple years ago legit money for a fullback that usually fullbacks don't get paid. So he likes that asset of the offense that there can go into certain packages that they couldn't go at times when they didn't have Kabinda. And obviously special teams impact as well. But I think that's a real part of it. Cornerback being the easiest position, dang, man. Or maybe Brad Holmes is just an absolute legend. I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because Chase Lucas didn't make it, and he was a draft pick. I mean, he made it year one, but now he's not here. So, you know, I'm just saying. What happened to Julian? Injuries, man. He's still here, but injuries. He just has not been healthy. And I don't. Julian wasn't terrible in the preseason. Remember, he had a great first preseason game. The third preseason game I thought was better than Romeo's. He just needs to be on the field. Will Harris on the 53. Man, y'all. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because I won't get out of it. That's the issue. I know if I start it, I won't get out of it. But y'all know my thoughts on Will Harris. Like, y'all know that I'm good with Will Harris being here. Now, I know at the very end I predicted him not being here because I ended up going with Lucas because of flexibility. But it makes tons of sense, I think, to keep Will Harris around. And I do think we're going to be play more zone, not more of a zone team, but more zone this year than last year. We were one of the heaviest man teams. I think that plays into his skill set even more. Hey, Dose, did you hear about Boogie Basham getting traded to the Giants? Oh, snap. Dang, Boogie. I didn't know that. I think the Cowboys have a dude named like something Basham too, and I always get those confused. I'm still confused about going with only 2 running backs. Trust me, Paul, it won't stay like that. And I know you know that too, but they'll get one back. Craig Reynolds will probably be back. I would have taken and kept Craig over Pittman, and that's the main difference I would have made out of all of this. But again, we talked about the flexibility, more confidence in terms of that Pittman's here. Maybe they feel like there's more versatility, and that they feel more confident that there's more bodies. That like, hey, if we can't get Craig back, we can go elsewhere and find one. But I think Craig's gonna end up back. Like I love the 53. But I do think a lot of it can be, and I'm not saying I'm saying in general, like I think a lot of times the 53 can be a little bit, there can be too much stock put into it. Because so many of the guys end up returning, so many teams have the same idea of returning a lot of their players. And it's like, it's great to think about and look at, but every week we're elevating 4 different players. Like you guys know this. Every week we go in and we're like, hey man, Lions are elevating this guy, that guy, and this guy, and this guy. And you're like, all right. And it's like, okay, but it's like, and then this guy's inactive, that guy's inactive, and there's like 5 or 6, there's like tons of players on here that are inactive because you can't have all of them active. So it's important, but I also think there's a real part of it that's kind of like, all right, and I think we're just in a spot now where we're leaning into proven players that we feel like can help us if they're forced to step out there. I thought Craig earned a spot for sure, but I think that there's a real shot that they feel comfortable that they can get another back if they can't get him back, but I do think they end up getting him back because, again, like, Craig had a good preseason. He had a good preseason last time, and we ended up putting him on the practice squad and then signing him. The major concern here will be that now he has regular season film, which other teams can see, but even that was still hit and miss because of health issues and being off the field and last year missing time. So, afraid to show his Harris jersey. Hey, if I had one, I'd be wearing that, Chris. If I had one, I'd be wearing that today because it would be funny. I don't have a Will Harris jersey. Yo. It's just out of frame. Dog, should we have Derek Barnes, Jared Goff, Will Harris? Bro, hey, that'd be fire. Look, I got a picture with him in here, I think. Hold up, Chad. I think I got a picture with him in here. I thought I did. Yo, did I not print it off? Oh, no, I do. Oh, wait, that's not him. Is that? Bro, I can't even tell. I think that might be him. I think I got a picture with him in here. Let me see if I got it. Chad. One second. Let me see if I got it. I'll show you on the phone because I can't do it like this. Yo, wait a minute. Hold up. All right, we got Kaminsky in here. That was a great picture. That was the first day he got here. That was excellent timing to get one with John Kaminsky. Oh, yeah. Look, and he ain't even dressed. My man must have been injured. Chat. Can y'all see that? Let me see if y'all can see it. Come on, man. Chat, we gonna have to print that off. Chat, we gotta need that printed off, man. Blow it up. It's a little bit fuzzy. My front camera is garbage. So it's like, hey, take a picture, then you can't see nothing. It's kind of garbage, but yeah. What do you say? Yo, if jerseys weren't so expensive, I think I would have more jerseys like that because I love getting players that are kind of like just role pieces. Because I think there's a lot of pride to that. Like, man, y'all don't like when you walk around with the jersey and other teams see it and they're like, man, who is that dude? And you're like, yeah, man, that's our gunner. So like, now that might be a little bit too far, but like, that's our fourth corner, man. He's got so much upside. Like, there's something cool about that. It's why I like to get into shirts. But jerseys are so expensive. It's like, wait a minute, I can't get a role player on jersey because he might not even be here. Like, starters don't even stay. You know what I mean? So, come on, man. What is Craig Reynolds' potential? Not much, if anything. I'll get Jamar. How is he? Well, Jamar Jefferson got waived injured. So he'll go through waivers, probably won't get claimed, probably will come back, probably will agree to an injury settlement, probably becomes a free agent, and hopefully we can get him back. If it's super serious, he might be out for the year. Maybe someone claims it with an injury. I doubt it. I think Craig Reynolds, look, I could be wrong, but I have a lot more conviction on Craig Reynolds than clearly the Lions do. I think Craig Reynolds, I don't think he's better than either of our two running backs, but I think he's for a back, I think if you're saying, and I don't know their team, but I would say he's the best running back 3 in football. Like, I think he's an excellent back, and I think he's got so much versatility. But I think in today's game, with what you want as kind of like you almost want like specific styles, he almost doesn't lean into anything at an elite level. I think that's the issue with him. He's not an elite receiving back. He doesn't have big time speed. He's not an elite power back. He's kind of like a well-versed, good running back. I love him for that. I think that's where it kind of gets weird because a lot of teams have like their elite or special in a category. Like, I think Gibbs going to be an elite special receiving back that's, obviously got the quickness. Montgomery leans into contact balance, tons of broken tackles. I think Craig is behind Montgomery in that sense a little bit, but he's closer to Montgomery stylistically. Obviously, he doesn't have the home run speed, which is why I think we need him back closer to a Jahmyr Gibbs type, even though we won't get that kind of athlete. But that's funny. Y'all say, he said ain't no way. Y'all see that? I got a lot of pictures in there. Maybe should kept Mike Hughes instead of undrafted guys this year. Mike Hughes was cool. I think is with Mike though, it didn't click at slot, so he wasn't able to become that. It didn't go well when he stuck at slot, which is why Will Harris had to step in there and he played better. And then on the outside, there was just limitations. I like Mike Hughes though. And I ain't mad with going with Gilmore. I think Gilmore can play right now. He's a little bit more on the growth side, but like, to be honest, if you ask me which one I would take out of the two, I might be biased because he's already here, but I think I would take Stephen Gilmore. I really would. And then the Khalil Dorsey one, like, man, Dorsey did his thing. You saw that 50? 50 what? I wanted a 50 Bridgewater? Oh, that would be cool. I got you. Yeah, no, that'd be fire. Should get a Jack Campbell jersey. I really want a Laporta jersey. It's hard, though. It's hard because I like all the draft picks. Brian Branch is a dog. I'd love that. I love me some Jack Campbell because initially I was like, why would we do this? And then I got, more watching. I'm like, dude, I love this guy. And then on top of that, he was the first player that I watched of any draft prospect back in October, November. We were watching Jack Campbell. And I can't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, no, that'd be a sweet jersey to have. And, he's been really good in the preseason, so he's been so fun to watch. But then I really like Sam Laporta. Like, I think Sam Laporta is so talented as a receiving tight end. I think Sam Laporta could be insane. I think Sam Laporta could be insane in the NFL. And I love his personality too. Like, he has such a unique personality from the little we've seen of him. Oh, I think he could be crazy. I think Laporta is the way I'd lean, which is weird. Like, tight end, yeah, I think I would. I think I'd get the tight end jersey. And obviously Gibbs. Gibbs is a dog. We love Gibbs. That you can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong with a lot of draft picks, I feel like, this year. Broderick Martin would be cool. I don't know. St. Brown or Sewell might be my first jersey. See, I rock with that. But, like, you know what I really want? I want a Taylor Decker jersey. I've been saying this. 2021 was the first year I'm like, man, I should get Decker. I want a Taylor Decker jersey, chat. Chat, put a 1 if you have a Taylor Decker jersey. Actually do this. Put your most obscure jersey. Is that the right word? Like something that's not like Jared Goff. Like give me, even if you have Goff, put that in there. But like give me like the wildest one you have. I want a Taylor Decker jersey. I'm just like, I'm not completely sure on what his future is, so I'm a little bit concerned on that. But at this point, he's been here so long, it could almost be one of those where you look back, you're like, man, remember Taylor Decker? Man, he was so, like, he hasn't been here that long, I guess. But I want a Taylor Decker jersey. I think that would be cool. That might be the way I go. Because he's already proven himself. He's already did his thing. You know what he is. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen someone wearing a Taylor Decker jersey. I think it'd also be cool to get a college, like Sam Laporta, Iowa jersey. That would be clean. Ooh, that'd be clean, dog. Yo, get a Broderick Martin, Western Kentucky. That'd be fire. That'd be fire because it's Western Kentucky, so it'd be kind of cool. But a Sam Laporta, Iowa jersey would be kind of nasty. That would be nasty. Yo. He said LeBlanc. Oh, my goodness. Yo, you need to stop, Phantom. You need to stop. Charles Rogers. You have Carry On. Yo, that's... King has Carry On too, bro. He loves it, but he doesn't. He tries to hide it, but he loves that Carry On jersey, bro. He would wear it every day if he could. I just hope we stay healthy. I'm with you there. I got no jersey. Jelani Tavai jersey. Oh no! Wait. You got to do. At least he's doing well now though. Like he's found a little role there for New England. So, just didn't happen here. Jonah Jackson would be kind of fire. That'd be unique. I've never seen a Jonah Jackson jersey either. You know what would be fire? I think a Colby Sorstill, William and Mary jersey would be disgusting. If he stuck and made the team, that would be a disgusting jersey. Because I didn't even know who that college. Like, bro, when we took him, I was like, I don't even know. I don't even know what division that is. That would be kind of disgusting though. Because ever since we drafted him, I've seen a lot of William and Mary stuff. A lot of stuff from them. That would be kind of cool. Kenny Galladay. Galladay was fire though. I ain't even mad at that. Penei Sewell. I got you. Barry, what's up, man? Kevin Jones, Roy Williams, Robert Porcher. Dude, I think I have my old ones were Kevin Jones and Kevin Smith. We had both the backs. After watching him on the Lions Den, I have to say a lot more respect for him, even though he's an Ohio State man. Watching him on the Lions Den. Wait. I missed something there. Iowa Sports Network. My guy, Iowa Sports Network. Yo, Iowa Sports Network, you need to get a Laporta jersey. I have a Chris Spielman jersey. That's sweet. We got one over here. It's not mine, but it's a cool jersey. Still my Harrington, especially now. That's cool. Sean Hill. No, you don't. Oh, you got a Sean Hill jersey? That's fire. You got to post that somewhere. You probably have. Who are my main two starting linebackers? It's got to be Campbell and Campbell and Duraso. It helps out Alex so much, and Campbell he's an animal, man. He's just got to be on the field. He's so smooth. He's such a today linebacker, but he's also such a unicorn with his size. He's got to be Campbell to me. Jack Fox, I rock with that. I've actually seen some Jack Fox jerseys, though. Like, he's got some love. And he's cool, too. Like, I've seen him sign a lot of stuff. Like, he's hooked people up with signatures. That'd be cool, Charles. I'm telling you, man. I want Delmas or Levy. I think Delmas would be fire, dude. I've seen Levy. We got a Levy one over here. Delmas would be fire, though. Delmas was cool. Kidno was tough. You got a John Kidno jersey? Okay. See, that was before me, though. Y'all need to put some respect on Dom Muhlbach. Yo, who got a Dom Muhlbach jersey? You got a Dom Muhlbach jersey, my guy? I'm not hating. I'm just... Oh, you talking about Taylor Decker. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you on that one. Okay. I get it. I'm with you, too. Like, we Michigan fans over here, but I always, like, have that thing. It's like, hey, I don't care where you're from. Like, I was like, all right, I wasn't a big Okuda guy coming out. But once we got him, I was like, all right, this is the dude. So I got his back, you know what I mean? Like, and you may have, because you're Iowa Sports Network, like, dude, you have a lot more ties to Iowa, like, heavier than I do maybe with Michigan. But even still, it's like, hey, yo, I don't even care where they come from. Like, if he's a dog, he's a dog. Did a school project about Joey Harrington. Oh, yo, you have Roy Halladay? I don't even know who that is. MLB Hall of Fame pitcher. Oh, that's cool. I don't know who that is, but favorite jersey is black jersey Calvin Johnson signed. That's nasty. They need to bring those back. Mel Farr. Okay. Remember Charles Rogers? Yeah, I was recently watching that draft when we took Charles Rogers. It's unfortunate. Like, if you guys go back and watch the Charles Rogers draft, obviously he was before my time, so I don't know everything that went down. But even the interview, like, when they drafted him, they were talking about, I think it was like have you taken these things, off the field? And he was like, no, I haven't taken them, and those kind of things. Like, it was a really weird vibe about it when they took him. And, I don't know. This is unfortunate. Javid Best is nasty. I still rock with that's still a cool jersey, even though he's not here. You just got bust jerseys. I feel like a lot of us do, to be honest. That's why, yeah. I mean, I always get Michigan players' jerseys. The Hutchinson Lions jersey is nice to have. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, chat. So, this is the 53, man. This is what we're looking at. We'll get more updates. I'll update you guys. I'll update you guys, tell you guys what happens, or probably not all at once, but tomorrow we'll probably come back, do some practice squad updates. I want to give a shout out to all y'all for hanging with me, man. I know last couple videos come out super late. Scheduling for me, it's when I got off, so I was like, all right, we'll do it now. So shout out to you guys for that. Appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Shout out to everybody that joined me on Bleacher Report. I'm sorry that I had to start so late, but they dropped it so late, so it was what it was. And I do want to bring back some of the gaming stuff, so I don't know. I do. There's a big part of me that wants to. We'll see. I mean, I just got to get a new console. What about Dan Campbell? So this is what I want. I want the Dan Campbell jersey, but I want the old school. I don't want a new jersey that says 89 Dan Campbell. I don't want that. I don't want a custom one. I want an old, when they had the old jerseys, like that year, with like the holes in the jersey. Back when they had like legit holes in the jersey. I don't know if that was because they were like broken in or whatnot, but I want one of those. Ooh, that was kind of fire. I want one of those jerseys of Dan Campbell. I haven't been able to find that. If you find that, please send me a link to it. That would be an awesome background jersey. Titus Young jersey would be a steal. That'd be kind of cool. Titus Young was so fun to watch, man. Like, that was the era I grew up in. Was Titus Young, Kelvin, Nate Burleson. The Chris Durham was around that time. Ryan Broyles. Like, man, to grow up in that, it gives you such a different perception, I feel like, of the line or the NFL versus other teams, because we threw the ball all the time. Like, we were setting records and pass attempts. And it's why it was so different, like, when we started running the football. And they tried to make that transition with Patricia, and it never really had efficiency, but they tried it. And now it's like it's working. It's so weird to watch the game like this. And, like, but at the same time, I kind of love it. Like, I have, like, a real love for, like, man, I love the checkdowns. I love the underneath. It's kind of cool. When I play Madden, I check the ball down now. Like, I do that. In the past, man, everything was like, man, 4 wide, we throw in that thing. So different. Mike Fury? Michael LaShore. Who got a Michael LaShore? I know somebody got a Michael LaShore jersey. Jack Campbell, black jersey from when he played. It was dope. That's sweet. Yeah, that's sweet. Craig did get cut, but I do anticipate he'll be back on the roster. Thanks for the roster update. Just got out of work. Haven't seen much today, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate you stopping in, man. But yeah, I got to wrap this thing up, man. I got a couple things I got to attend to, but I got to wrap this thing up. We may go live. I don't know. We might go live again tonight at some point. I don't know. If something big goes down, we might. But probably more videos. And I think that's it, man. I think we hit on everything. Yeah, I think we hit on everything. Obviously, got a lot to talk about. But we're only 8 days away from the opener, basically, if you don't count today. So, dog, we're going to have to start doing previews soon. Oh, my gosh. We got to do a season prediction video. We got to start predicting some stuff. I want to do that with Rad. So that's coming soon. But we're going to do some, like, season predictions. Is this team better in 2014 on paper? Man, that's tough. The biggest difference, of course, was there was no run game in 2014, really at all. And the offensive line wasn't what this one is. So I think that's a big difference. 2014, we got one of the best defenses in the league. If we had that now, oh my goodness. Like, that's tough. On paper, if the defensive front, if everything worked, in best case, if Levi was who we thought Levi could be, if he became that this year, Ali McNeil makes that upside transition, which I expect he will. I actually am pretty confident about that. Aiden Hutchinson takes a year or two, like legit, from legit to like elite pass rusher step. If these things all happened, Lions could absolutely be pushing for that, because it wasn't like we had all the elite corners, but we had good corners. We had Slay, and we had, good veterans in the back end. We now have that. Not necessarily the big proven like Slay type corner, but we have vets. Sutton 3-year deal. Mosley. Jerry's a vet now. Vets at safety. So I don't think it, like, remember back then we had like James Ahedebo. I don't know who exactly was the safeties then. We had the Don Carries. I loved him on special teams. We had the the dude with the hair. You guys just said it. I can't think of his name. But now we have the T-Walks, we have the CJs, we have the, the Kirby's. So like we have a lot of those similar pieces. It's just like, is the defense going to become elite like that one was? Because it was all through the defensive line, it felt like. Linebacker finally got hit. And back then, I think 2014, it feels like it was Levy, I think. We had Tulloch in there. I think we have a legit linebacker, like your Tulloch, you have your Duracell. And then it's like, okay, do those players hit their highest level? Because the D-line does. And Jack Campbell is like big time great immediately, pushing into like a Levy category when he was insane, like 6 interceptions one year. Then yes, this is a much better team on paper because offensively they have a better offensive line. They have a way more efficient run game that they can actually be, they can actually hit 2 things, right? They can run the ball and throw the ball, so they're really tough to stop. They don't have the same receivers. Tate and Calvin was nasty, but they have good receivers just in a different way. Like I think we had Riddick probably back then. Now we have Gibbs. So I'd take that. Tight end is better now. It should be. So it's just a different setup. But if the defensive front hits, yeah. And we saw what we were capable of that year. So we just need that defensive front really to hit its ceiling, like get working towards that. And I think we really got something here. Glover Quinn. Oh, obviously Glover. Yes. Love me some Glover Quinn, man. Shout out to Glover. That was such a crazy stream. I still can't believe we did that. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If that doesn't make any sense because it's a live stream, why did I say that, chat? Oh, my gosh, dog. I was about to end this. This was such a good ending. And then I hit y'all with that, man. I mean, you can comment, but you're commenting. All right, I'm getting out of here, man. That was terrible. I'm sorry you had to witness that. This beat's fire. Shoot, dog, they're doing me dirty. They put the fire beat on. Hold up. Oh, no. Chat, why are they doing me like this? Oh my gosh, man. See, look. Let's just rock out to it on the way out. Let's rock out to it. Yeah. Chat, they can't just drop this and be like, hey, end the stream now. Come on, dude. I need like an outro screen. Now we can like bop to it. What? Hey, peace out, chat. Carrie, Mike Hard, 313. Ooh, 4440. I'm not with that. Paul, I see you. Mentioned quarterback way worse right now. Hey, look, we don't need to. Hey, look at the stat lines in 2014. Stafford versus Goff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, obviously that doesn't tell the story, but I'm just saying. We end on a high note. Hold it, we gotta go more driving here. Yeah. Okay, we gotta go. I need to stop. I'm not gonna leave if I don't stop. Okay, I'm out.